Okay, I show you example of work breakdown structure that we can do. First, it could be that this entire project is broken down into task 1, task 2, task 3. You can draw it in this visualization format. Actually, it's very easy to just use maybe Excel or any sheet structure, right? You fill in indentation and then break down in level, okay, hierarchical level. So task 1 can be decomposed into subtask 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Task 2 may have subtask 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and so on. Each of the subtasks may have work package further and further. So actually the number of levels deeper, it depends. If your work project is very complex, maybe you even have very deep levels, right? If it is not very complex, so perhaps the task when you decompose could be in just not so deeper in terms of the level of decomposition, but this can continue. Or we can even use this kind of visualization to draw and see how things are broken down or decomposed, right? This is example of suppose I took it from a textbook. It's for an insurance company in terms of customer relation, intelligent customer relation management, system development. Okay, to develop a CRM system for an insurance company. This can be example of work breakdown structure, and they break down by output. So as I already mentioned, the way we can decompose the work could be in several dimensions using different approaches, different dimensions you want to consider. But any of the dimensions you want to choose, be very consistent, okay? Suppose you want to break down by activity, process and activity. And as I said, if we talk about information system project, important activity would be understanding requirements, modeling requirements, making software design, developing, testing, delivering, deploying, training, and so on. These are activities, right? You can think of activities and break down that in terms of requirements, understanding what do you have to do. In terms of developing, what do you have to do? In terms of testing and training to the user, what do you have to do? Then break down, further and further until you get detail enough, okay? No need to be super finer detail, but good enough for you to estimate the time. If it is too big and still you cannot estimate the time with confidence, then that means your breakdown structure is too cost, right? You need finer detail. So this is first approach using activity oriented. It could be, for example, analysis the needs, requirements, as I already mentioned. If it involves bidding process, I mean, it may not be only the software part, right? It involves also the hardware part. You need to buy hardware. So hardware by purchasing is also part of the work. And it doesn't need you only one day, right? It's not like you go shopping to Future Park and then get things in one day. Purchasing means you review, you ask for quotation, you ask for presentation and demo of the hardware and so on. It may take you months. Okay, so that is also the process. Okay, achievement oriented is another way to break down the work by considering objective of the project, not the task. Not like, oh, we have to do purchase, we have to do installation, we have to go out, talk to customer. These are the tasks, right? But in terms of objective, achievement and goal, what are the achievements of the project? So you fulfill or break down the things in terms of achievements or goal, okay? Such as goal number 1 for the SIS system is to improve to have a precise, to have a very convenient system to serve the system, right? Okay, in this case, you develop a new mobile app. Another goal is for analysis of the enrollment. Another goal is for tracking learning performance of students. Then each of the goal require you to do different things. Then you break down in terms of goal, but of course it may lead to certain features and something else. The next approach is by function or output, product-oriented output. That is, what do you want at the end? Suppose at the end we need 4 things. Here, we need a new hardware. Okay, so you have one breakdown hardware-related stuff, which include buying, asking for quotation, defining the spec, asking for quotation, and many other things, right? Next is about the software. This is component of the IS, right? IS component. Okay. We break down the output of the IS component because IS needs hardware, IS needs software, IS needs new data. How would you acquire the data? IS may need operations, procedures, and services, maybe even related to people for training. Okay, so you break down in terms of the outputs that must be delivered, must be obtained. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of, I think, the output oriented, the last one, number 3, technique number 3 or approach number 3, product oriented, output oriented. So in terms of this system, the CRM system for the insurance, we need a new software, unified CRM software. So this is one big piece of output. And of course, if we talk about the new CRM alone, still for me, I cannot do any estimation, right? I need breaking down further so I can properly schedule things. So with the CRM system, I need to do system integration, migrate database, testing, and training for this part. In this case, suppose that we simply get the software ready. Maybe we buy the software. No in-house development. That is why it's just integrate the new system with existing one we have. No need to have the time of developing, understanding, testing, coding ourselves, right? So hard for this CRM system. Next is the next one, Office Suite. We may need back office suite as another output product of the project, and this is decomposed into work such as setting up new hardware, perform or do the customization, phasing out the legacy system, okay, replacing the new one with the legacy one, right? Replacing the legacy one with the new one. And then do the staff training. So these are related to the office space, or back office suite. Then the next is to deliver or to make an output, which is user manual, so that new users can learn from the manual all the time. So it is to update, to write more, and so on, the 2 manuals. So this is an example of to do work breakdown. Once you have this work breakdown, which is detailed enough, you can estimate, oh, for this integration, I need 1 week. That means 7 days. Here I need 7 days, 7 working days. Here I need, migration data require a lot of testing and ensuring data is correct. So maybe I need 10 days. Here I need testing, maybe 5 days. The training, I need 3 days. 3 days training is already a lot, right? And so on. You can do this. And of course, later on, we will see as well that some of these tasks, after you break down, They can be, some have certain order, sequential. You cannot do this until you complete this. Some can be parallelized. You can do the task at the same time. No need to finish one before the other, and so on, right? So once you already estimate the time, once you also make consideration whether things can be done in parallel or not, what to be done first, second, and third, then you can see the whole project schedule, timing. Okay, this is another example of the for the online attendance management system. Let's say the the human resource management system in terms of time attendance, whether staff come to work or not, maybe something like that, right? Time attendance, time recording. And in this example, it's what? In this example, it's breakdown by what? Oops. By activity, right? This where we use activity oriented, okay, to break down the thing. So activity one, things can be not overlapping. The group of activities related to project management, group of activities related to requirement analysis, also the design, development, testing, and deployment. These are activity related oriented breakdown. Okay. And as I said, you don't always need kind of drawing tool to make the work breakdown. You can simply use spreadsheets or word processing, right? But use proper indentation and so on. So we can see things that is nested, see work that is nested under the other work or group of the work easily. So this is the same as the previous one that is using, what is it? Activity oriented. Technique. Okay, to break down the work. Okay, so here is to understand benefit of work breakdown structure. I think I can quickly go through and you would agree, right? It provides solid foundation for planning and scheduling. You can always explain why do you think you need, because usually when you are the project planner, manager, talk to the executive, negotiate with the executive, and the executive say that I need the project to be done in 6 months. And you said, no, we can do only 9 months. Why? Oh, here, let's look at the work breakdown. These are all the works we have to do. With this, you can firmly negotiate the scheduling, right? Otherwise, it's just a feeling that I think you can do in 6 months. And oh, no, in my feeling, I think I need 10 months, 9 months. No, you need evidence and proper way to explain, justify your scheduling, right? And it helps break down the project into manageable work packages or subtasks. Then you see the detail of the subtasks. You see the complexity or how simple of each task, how difficult of each task. Okay. And even later on, you can determine the cost. Once you understand how complex, how difficult, how easy, you determine the cost easily. And it helps you to list down explicitly, and there are certain things that you may not forget. And helps you to better manage resource allocation, either in terms of hardware and people, okay, and money, of course, and time. So these part of the project, these sub project or sub module or something require 2 months with this budget and this hardware. And you can even reuse your plan in whenever you have similar projects in the future, right? Okay, oh, I used to do this planning for similar, so you take it as a template and then modify. And yeah, it's a two starting points that you can brainstorm with the team. Make the whole team understand the whole project together. Okay. And okay, I think this is just for you to do for fun later on. Okay. Suppose we want to do a wedding planning. These are all the subtasks, small tasks. We divide the wedding into 3 types of work related to invitation, food, and bridal. Then you can fill in what are supposed to be under what. But my question, this is not so clear. But what do you think? Which technique we use for decomposing this? Output related, activity oriented, or objective oriented? Activity oriented, yes. Things related to inviting guests, things related to providing, preparing food and preparing the bride. Okay. All right. Anyway, I think this is more serious. Work breakdown structure for clinic management system of AIT. For those who are on campus, I think AIT clinic, medical, I think we call it medical center, AIT medical center. Have you been there, every one of you? At least when you need to do some kind of, I don't know, health record registration or something, you need to be there, right? But it's similar. Any kind of clinic, a small clinic or medical center would have similar work function anyway. Okay. So suppose we are thinking of just for the online appointment system, part of the whole clinic management system, okay? Because the whole clinic management includes also medicine inventory, also patient records in full detail, diagnosis, and then treatment records and so on. But just only about the part of online appointment module of the system. If you need to break down the work of developing this online appointment module for AT clinic, AT medical center, can you make use these different approaches and do the work breakdown? I would say, okay. How many of the online students we do have now? Those who are just online, not in the class. For sure, I have Tirana. Yes. Who else are online and not in the class? Albin, you're not in the class, right? You're online. You're online. And Ritik, you're also online. Lakash, where are you? Okay. And Son, you're there. Okay. Zhao Hong. Okay. And Duke, Nguyen, where are you?
Yes.
You're online?
Yeah, I'm online.
Okay. It's already after the Chinese New Year. Are you back? Okay. Answer. Somesh, Rao. Okay. Surya. Person, Kiel. There are two person, you know, right? Another one, where are you? But you are this one too, right? Okay. Jaw. Okay. Yes on. No jaw. Okay. Thank you. Name. Are you here? Oh, you are here. Bo. G. Lam. Risha. Where are you, Risha? And Tan. Tan. I forgot Tan or Tan. Tan. Okay. So we have Ritik, Duk, Alvin, Piranat from online, right? Okay. Then I go back to my screen. 4 of you. I need these different outputs for the work breakdown. Can I request the online students to use which one? Maybe function oriented, this one, okay, sorry. So for the online group, is it possible that you do this work breakdown using the function, actually the output oriented? And then for the in class, of course, we still need more. We need one row. Okay, I asked the leader of the row, leader in the sense that you sit in the front. Apart, out of this, A, B, and 3. Which one you choose? A. A. No more A. Sorry. B or C? B. C. Only B. Okay. Okay. So you are B. This row, you use the approach B. Okay. You use the approach C. You use the approach B. You use both A. And the online, you use approach C. Okay. I didn't hear you, but I believe you know. Okay. Piranat, I'm sorry. I already did the assignment before I saw your. Is it possible to make the C instead?
Oh, yes. Actually, that one is the answer for the previous questions. No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we will discuss the coming week, of course, but this is some kind of small exercise that perhaps you could do on your own, come up with something, okay? That if we use work breakdown structure to decompose to decompose our project, this one. You can assume anything because of course I have not given you the detail of this, right? I just say that it is kind of online appointment with the doctor, I mean, right? It's a clinic, it's a medical center. So suppose you, me, any AIT members would like to have an appointment with a medical doctor in AIT. What would be the way to break down this project into? And of course, I have 3 approaches. More or less, we have around close to 10 people working on certain approach. Okay, then we show and discuss, you share and we discuss the result later on, next, the coming Wednesday. That means we need you to prepare something either in this structure I mean, the way you would like to visualize, fine. Whether it will be just using spreadsheet and then indentation properly with the proper level, or you draw some kind of diagram, fine. Make your work in the electronic form that you can share to on the screen easily. Not draw on paper and then you need to take a photo or something to share, right? Be sure that you have your work done. You draft your work somehow and then put it online somehow. And then next, the coming class, next class, I may ask from you to share some of the outputs. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Up to you. I'm fine. You will talk to friends or you will do individually. I have no problem with that. But it's good you talk and then discuss. But if you cannot have time to meet and talk, this is a small thing that just to practice your understanding. Okay. Any question or things unclear from in class or online? If not, I go a little further. Here back to before we discuss into the detail of work breakdown. Actually, this is what I mentioned, right? These are the important techniques we learn when we talk about scheduling. And the first one, Gantt chart. I think this is easy and should be very familiar to many of you already. So the Gantt chart has this kind of graphical representation for representing the work scheduling. When we talk about work breakdown, there's no scheduling yet, right? It's just decomposing the work related to your project. But we use work breakdown as a foundation. Once you know that your project needs this work, you can group, okay? You can see that actually we can group the project, sub-project or module of the project, okay? The task and the subtask and then the activity and so on. You can group and indent them and then you can better estimate the time it takes, right? For each of the small activity. So this one, suppose is under the group of work called defining requirements. We break down and find out that for defining requirements for our project, we need interview. Inside the interview, we need the time to make interview form. We need appointment scheduling task. We need the interview conduct. Next, we have the review of the report. So we need to collect report and review report, and then we summarize and so on. These are examples. Then this is the work breakdown. Then you determine, right? Designing interview, it takes you 1 day. Conduct an interview with perhaps you think that you need 10 people, then it may take you 4 days. Remember that it depends when you estimate the time. It is not for one single person. You need to also consider how many people in your project team, right? When you estimate the time. For example, when we do the interview, I give you this example. If you need to interview 10 people, but you interview alone, so it depends that each interview takes 1 hour, then you need in total 10 hours. But if you need 1 hour per one interviewee, but you have 5 people in your team, then 5 of you can work in parallel, right? Then you need 2 hours only in total to conduct an interview, because then you can do this in parallel and so on. Okay. And then once you have the work breakdown on the left-hand side, The Gantt chart is to make a graphical representation that shows when would be the first possible starting date that you can start certain task or activity. And if you say that, oh, for this one, it takes 1 day, then it starts from here to this, right? Just this. Then making an appointment, another 1 day. Then conduct interview, another 4 days. But remember, sometimes there are holidays, weekends. Okay, so that's why you see certain gray parts. It depends on which tool you use, and then the visualization or how it is shown is something. Okay, sometimes you just show only the working day, that is fine. No need to show holidays and something that you don't work. So there are many tools that can be used. And then finally, you can see that from the starting of the project until the ending of these tasks for requirements, it will finish on this date. So with Gantt chart, you can visualize things and see the work breakdown, see the schedule, detail how long would it take for the entire project work, and so on easily. This is another nicer, cleaner, and clearer, I mean. So in this case, we have the tasks such as analysis, design, development, and testing. These are the activity related tasks, right? You group work based on activity. And then you define the work breakdown, the subtasks, and so on. The activity to be done, and then how long would it take is shown there. Even this tool, it can show as well that who, I mean, it can, I mean, once you have a planning, then you may want to manage and assign work to certain team members, right? Then it can even show the status of the completion, that who is doing what and whether complete or not. Okay. Something like here, for example, we can see Sam works on integrate system modules for 51%, something like this. Okay, so it is used for planning, and certain tools allow, of course, when you plan, you need to track and monitor the plan. So once you plan with Gantt chart, you can also use Gantt chart to track and monitor, right? And you will see things whether you are according to the plan, ahead of the plan, behind the plan, or what. Okay. I will not talk into this detail yet, and that would mean you cannot start doing the assignment yet as of now, but you can go into the detail better. You find a pair to work with. Okay, we cannot finish the things today in terms of scheduling techniques using Gantt chart, network diagram, PERT, and critical path analysis. We talk about this briefly only, but still there are network diagrams, PERT, and critical path scheduling that we need to talk, and we continue on Wednesday. But then I can go back to the assignment a little bit. Okay. Okay, back to this assignment. Okay, let me explain quickly, but not about the question, but in terms of the way to do it. It is said assignment number 2, okay, scheduling project planning, and then we will use pair programming as a way for you to work with your friends, classmates. There are 2 problem sets, A and B. Okay, you can have a look so that you see what are those questions about and asking you. Okay, And then what you can prepare now, even I have not finished lecturing, explaining about these techniques for scheduling yet. But what you can start doing now is to find your partner, okay? Study, what does it mean by pair programming? What techniques pair programming use, and how can you use pair programming to work on these assignments, okay? And once you are working on problem sets A and B, please use pair programming technique. And then you need to write down in the problem, in the sheet when you submit, who is the student that you work together, student number 1, student number 2, the name and the ID. And for each of the question, I am fine, you may alternate. First, you study the pair programming based on the results I already given. Okay. Or even if you need more, but you understand how pair programming works. Actually, there are 2 people. It's pair programming. You need 2 people. One is called a driver. Another is called a navigator. So your task is to understand what is the role of navigator, what is the role of driver, and follow the role on doing the task. And the task in this case means not programming. They use pair programming in the real programming coding, but you're not going to do any coding. You just use pair programming technique to do these assignments. Okay, so one person will be a driver, another person will be a navigator in this assignment, set A and set B. It can be that for question number 1, for this question number 1, perhaps who is driver, who is navigator, then you alternate. For question number 2, switch the role. Another person becomes a driver, another person becomes a navigator or something like this, and switch the role, something like this. It's up to you, okay? Do some discussion, but make sure you switch roles, okay? Because you need to learn both roles, and then both roles learn the content of the things differently. Okay. All right, I think that is the thing for today.